Mountain, Island, Lightning Bolt, Snowpierce, Switchblade, Stab Wound, Red Mage, Blue Mage.
Baby.
Welcome to Red Mage, Blue Mage, where we do karaoke now.
Sweet. I'm down for that. Some magic karaoke.
Wow. What would that be like?
Believe in magic.
This is what I truly quit the podcast.
I was gonna say, should we just end it here? I don't just mean like the podcast. I mean our lives.
That's terrible.
Yes.
Well.
This is Red Mage, Blue Mage. I'm Kenny. I play blue cards.
I'm Amber. I play red cards.
And today we have a very special topic lined up. So we usually do 2 segments in a given day, unless it's a combat phase.
Yep.
It's not a combat phase day. But we have 2 segments and a running theme through both of them.
I didn't know this.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't know we were doing 2 segments.
That's right. We are doing 2 segments. Today we are talking all things slivers, a famed creature type in Magic the Gathering. And this topic comes to us, it's our first fan-submitted topic.
Yeah.
If you don't count Echo.
Yeah.
Echo is a guest on the show.
Yes.
But this is a fan-submitted topic from @AdeptXander. And it's a great topic. I was excited to get it in the first place. We welcome more of these topics. Are you excited to talk about slivers?
I'm not even sure what a sliver is.
Okay, well that's perfect. So let's get you acquainted first of all. Let's
Okay.
get in the bus. You got your bus pass?
Hold on.
Hand it over.
Oh my god! It's in my... Here.
No ticket.
Access denied.
No, we're going to Flavortown.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, welcome to Flavor Town, home to the creamiest flavors inside the Berlin. I can't run. It is illegal.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to Flavortown first of all. Honestly, I brought up this topic to you and you said you knew nothing about it. And I tend to get the most excited to talk about a topic with you when you don't know anything about it.
Because I get confused and frustrated and speculative.
And mad.
And yeah, that too.
We'll see if you get mad here. I'm not sure. So we're going to talk about the flavor of the slivers, what they are exactly, and for our listener too, if you don't know what a sliver is, because is that a hand?
No. I'm not gonna interrupt your spiel. Continue.
I was just listening to a. I'm not going to interrupt you as I hold up a hand and talk.
Hey, I want to say something.
I just want to say that I won't be interrupting you.
I just want to tell you that
Okay.
I appreciate when you talk.
That was actually worth the interruption. A nice thing that you said to me. I'll take it. I was listening to a podcast recently that was talking about the difference between, I've forgotten the terms, basically like an ownable property and a recognizable property. And they were talking about it in the context of Dungeons and Dragons. In Dungeons and Dragons, you have something that's ownable, like a beholder. They have like the license on that creature.
Oh, because they made it up. It's a unique creature.
Exactly.
It's not like a dragon that's in mythology.
That was the other example. Like a dragon, you've got automatic buy-in from your audience because they already know what a dragon is. But you can't own a dragon, you know? Whereas a beholder, you can own. But if I say beholder to my mom doesn't know what a beholder is.
Maybe you'd be surprised.
I would be surprised. She's a good sport and she'll play games, but I don't think she knows what a beholder is.
Okay.
Anyway, I bring it up because slivers are an ownable property. They don't exist in other media.
That's because they're just like these giant pointy shrimp.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, should I open up anything?
Don't worry about it yet.
He totally didn't want me to prepare for this. I'm going into this blind. He said slivers, and I didn't even get a look at notes or anything.
You are a filthy liar. The notes I have for you here are the slivers themselves. We're just looking at pages and pages of the slivers.
Oh my god, no wonder you didn't tell me about this.
I did tell you about this. Literally earlier today.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the first time we've talked in a month.
The listeners can hear the lie on your lips.
No, it's just apple juice.
So yeah, as you described them, giant pointy shrimp. slivers have a pretty recognizable profile. Do you want to describe their general morphology?
Imagine a shrimp with no antenna, or the antenna going backwards on the head, but the head's like that. And then also, instead of lots of little legs, has just it just has one giant pointy leg. And sometimes their butts are all wiggly jigglies.
Yeah, pretty much all the time. They're
swirly.
They've got like a
tails.
snake. They're like a snake from the waist down. And then they've got like, imagine like a praying mantis kind of claw, but they've only got one of those, like right in the middle of their chest.
No eyes that I can see.
Nope. No
but
eyes.
I bet you they do on a different plane.
Just like a faceplate kind of thing. I guess maybe we can start there. Design person. Like, looking at these as far as like a monster design, what do you gather about slivers just from the way they're designed? What does this design communicate to you?
They're gonna shoot through something and be pointy and sharp, and that's it.
Okay, so...
Sorry, design person, tell me what this means to you.
They're pointy.
Pointy! They're sharp! They have to do something cyclically, maybe, or some other sense or something, because they don't have anything else that's really, like...
What do you mean cyclically?
Psychic.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, how do they communicate? How do they operate in the world? Like, they can't see anything that we know, so do they have sonar? But it doesn't really look like they have a mouth. Do some of them have mouths? Nope, it doesn't even look like they have mouths.
It's not clear whether they have mouths or not.
Right.
So I think in looking at their general design, you have gleaned two important things about slivers. So one, I think they just very clearly hail like the xenomorph Geiger tradition, the giant phallic head. And it's just like this bony plate of a dome that it's got. And also, as you point out with the pointy claw, it does give you, again, that xenomorph feel that this is going to come bursting out of something. Like the very first sliver on this list is acidic sliver.
Yeah.
And it's like bursting out of some rocks. Looks like it's an artist rendition of the chest burster, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I probably somebody who didn't know magic, didn't know better would... What's this face you're making?
Well, I just noticed on it that it's got drippy goos on its one leg.
Yeah, because it's acidic.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's an acidic sliver.
Oh, that's right there in the title. How could I miss it?
And I said it, but I understand how you missed that part. Because you don't listen to me when I talk.
What did I wait to say earlier? I appreciate it when you talk.
Yeah, I know you said that.
It gives me time to think of things.
Yeah, you're literally just counting down the time until I stop blabbing.
Oh, Kenny, that's not true.
Anyway, I was saying these guys are like very xenomorph-like, and I think that communicates their deadliness, but also like their alienness.
Yeah.
They look like it's not just that they look like aliens. They look like alien. They look like one of the archetypes for alien. Do you know what I mean?
Like a prototype alien.
Exactly. And as well with the xenomorph, which has its kind of like evolutionary thing where it's very rapidly growing and adapting, slivers also have that feature where they grow and learn and adapt. It's very important to how they work. Because, as you said, you think they might have some psychic thing going on, so they don't have any other clear ways of communicating. Slivers have a hive mind.
Oh.
So
that makes sense.
they are hive mind shapeshifters. And so the whole idea of slivers is if one of the slivers learns some new thing or learns some new shape, all of the slivers can adapt that new shape.
It's like a Cylon.
Yes. And you can see that reflected in all of the slivers' ability. Pretty much every sliver has an ability like this one. This one is called Battering Sliver. It says all slivers have trample.
Gotcha.
So all of the slivers have an ability like that. Either all slivers have something, or some of the newer ones have more updated templating where it says sliver creatures you control get something. So for example, Battle Sliver is 4 and a red for a 3/3 sliver that says sliver creatures you control get +2/+0. So the slivers are, the way I wrote them down very briefly in the notes, I call them xenomorph Borg, basically. So what do you think? Slivers.
Where are they from?
That's a good question. Ultimately, in the lore, the answer is we don't know, as is so often the case. So they first appear on the like pocket plane of Wrath. Some evil research guy found them somewhere and brought them to Wrath. And whenever the slivers show up, they basically have a like Mewtwo kind of storyline where they escape the cage and get loose. And the slivers start reproducing, and they start a hive, and things start going very badly. And usually some giant apocalyptic conflict winds up killing them as sort of a byproduct. The slivers get wiped out.
Nuke them from orbit kind of deal.
Yep. So they get wiped out, or they seem to get wiped out, but they always seem to come back.
Because somebody's always like, let's go dig in this hole and get the DNA of this thing and recreate it.
Yep. That actually
Just don't go poking in holes.
There was a storyline called like the Riptide Project, I think it was called, and that's exactly what it was. Some researchers found some fossil remains of slivers, and they Jurassic Parked it and made some new ones. And they destroyed the facility and ran loose over Dominaria.
Science is folly.
Yes. Knowledge is foolishness.
The Thing. I'm getting the Thing vibes.
Yes.
And this is all just a way for people to say, see, don't play God.
Yeah. The wisdom of man is the foolishness of God.
The folly of man.
Yeah, it does have that motif. It does have that element to it. But I think the biggest thing about slivers, as far as like what they're trying to communicate, is the idea of things getting beyond your control. When you play against slivers, it really feels that way. It feels like I have to contain this right now, or it's going to become ridiculous. Like the first sliver comes out, it's such a ridiculous feeling. This is kind of getting into the next topic. But when someone drops the first sliver on the board, you just go, oh my god, why? And you already know what the rest of the game is going to look like, which we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But the big thing to me is, like, it does communicate that feeling, like it communicates that experience of the slivers are going to build this hive that will grow beyond control. And it does definitely fill you with a sense of doom.
So, Modern Horizons just came out, and they brought back slivers.
Yes.
Did they make new sliver cards that are new? Because like we talked about how Modern Horizons isn't really like a story set per se. It's just like
here's a bunch of cool
here's
stuff.
A cool reprint, some new stuff that we're specifically making just for Modern.
Yep.
So I'm assuming a lot of the sliver cards that came out were just the same kind of sliver cards that we've seen before.
I'm pretty sure, I'd have to look this up, but I think all of the slivers are brand new slivers in Modern Horizons. No reprints, I think.
Okay. Well, you can correct us, the internet, when you get this 2 years from now.
Yeah.
I guess my next question would be, like, was there a set that was, like, sliver-focused?
I don't think slivers have never been the center of the story. I think the problem is that slivers occupy a very similar space to a lot of other kinds of villains in the Magic storyline.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the Phyrexians, which are about invading and taking over and turning everything into itself. And then you've got the Eldrazi, which are about invading and taking over and spreading, and are also very alien, and where do they come from? They overlap a lot. And so I think slivers have this issue of, as far as from a story perspective, there are already other things that narratively do the same thing that they do, except these other things have more personality. Like the Phyrexians have more personality than slivers have.
So I'm looking at a sliver right now, just doesn't matter which one. And I'm going, they kind of have a Phyrexian look to them, but also like the Eldrazi weird Cthulhu-esque kind of look. So you know where I'm going.
Fan theory.
Phyrexian fucked an Eldrazi.
Yeah, I think I remember, speaking of Geiger, I remember when New Phyrexia was coming out, or those Phyrexian sets were coming out, and they were talking about designing them, And one of the quickest, easiest ways to make something appear alien is to, for example, get rid of the eyes. Like, eyes are how we recognize the humanity in something. So you take away the eyes, there's no humanity to recognize anymore. Or just in general, like, we're very fond of, like, give it extra arms, give it tentacles, give it, all these alien things that I think, funnily enough, don't make something feel alien anymore. I was thinking about this the other day. Speaking, like, I love Lovecraftian stuff. I think Cthulhu is like the worst Lovecraftian monster.
It's just a
It's
squid
just a guy
man
with a squid head. Like, there's nothing like. Maybe when it came out, that was like, whoa, what, crazy. But now we're so inundated with it that it doesn't feel alien anymore. Or for that matter, Emrakul. The tentacles of Emrakul do nothing for me. I think I'm just over tentacles in general. Yeah. Both in my private and my professional life. But the thing about Emrakul that I do like is the mossy lattice structure of its body. That feels weird and alien and something that hasn't been done. And that's the issue with Lovecraft stuff. You can't use stuff that other people have done because then it gets familiar and completely defeats the purpose.
Yeah. I think this kind of horror that gets me, specifically monsters, is two types. One, the type that you never ever see that takes your form. So I always think of The Thing is like the one like alien monster-esque thing that always freaks me out because it's like you never really get to see what the thing really truly 100% is. It's always do you? I can't remember.
No.
It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. Don't, because I remember they even go back to where the frozen site was. And
I feel like it's almost like a question that you can't, like, what does the thing look like? It's not even a sensible question.
Yeah. And then the other one is when it's something that was once human that's been turned into something. Not like vampire, not like werewolf, but like just, I think of, have you seen the movie Slither?
No.
Okay, maybe we should watch that. It's kind of icky.
Slivers.
Slither and Slivers. I can't say all these S's. But yeah, that one too. It's like something's amassing or human organic matter, and there's still bits and pieces of humanness, but you don't have your mind anymore.
Right. I showed you that Oats Studio short of the creature made of hands, right?
Yes,
eyeballs,
yes.
That kind of thing.
That kind of stuff freaks me out.
Yes. Amalgam creatures are really fucking creepy. I agree with that, totally.
Yeah. And so for me, a sliver looks like a shrimp.
The only thing I'll say about the sliver that I think actually is a kind of a cool design is is the one arm claw thing. Like, that is weird enough and alien enough to be interesting to me. Did
you see the artwork that was released of Slither Anatomy?
No.
Sliver, not Slither Anatomy.
No.
You should look it up.
Okay, so we're looking at an article that came out May 22nd, 2019 called A Sliver of Direction by Cynthia Shepard. So go ahead and talk about it.
I was just saying they actually just show like the musculature system of a sliver, and specifically talking about that the arms are, it's like two things bound together, essentially.
Two arms that have grown and fused into one.
I think so.
I do like that slivers present an interesting challenge as well, where it's like they all look like this. They all have this general shape of like serpentine naga body, single fused scythe arm, bony, pointy head. So how do you design art of slivers that differentiates them enough from each other?
Yeah.
And still makes them feel unified, still makes them feel like a single species. Mm-hmm. And I think by and large they do a pretty good job of that, looking through here. But, and now it's my turn to get mad. So when they revisited slivers in Magic 2014, a core set, they brought slivers back. They worked basically the same. They give all your other slivers a bonus of some kind. But visually, they look completely different.
Oh.
So if you look at some of these slivers, check out Predatory Sliver.
Why's it got arms?
It's got 2 arms, 2 feet,
2 legs,
a head, like a discernible head, a mouth, eyes. And then even the flavor text gives a little nod to what they were doing. It says, no matter how much the slivers change, their collective might remains. I am not sure why they did this. So I'm kind of two minds about this. Still talking about flavor. I'm of two minds. On the one hand, I like the idea that they had here, where they're like, we haven't seen the slivers in ages. What if the slivers came into contact with people, with humans? Shouldn't we expect them to start taking on more human characteristics? And so that's getting into the idea of the stuff that you like with the Thing or that amalgam creature, where it's like you could do something interesting there. Mm-hmm. But they just don't look like slivers at all anymore.
No.
And they don't look compelling to me. Like, this predatory sliver is just... This could just be a very generic beast creature in Magic the Gathering, and I would completely believe it.
Yeah. There's nothing about it that makes it seem...
slivery, for one.
Yeah.
But also just unique as a monster. What are some other ones if we scroll down here?
I'm looking at the first sliver. Did you see that? I think this is a Modern Horizons card, right?
Yes, the new legendary one.
It looks like a worm coil, and it has a very worm look to it.
Yes. It seems like you can see, like, it's hard to tell if they're, like, legs, like mini legs, like a centipede that it has, or if those are, like, slivers that are being birthed out of it.
Well, there's eggs around.
Mm-hmm.
So, what?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally... Okay, so maybe we can talk about this, too. We can talk about sliver legends.
Okay.
So this is the first sliver. Take a look at Sliver Queen.
Okay.
All the sliver legends work basically the same way. Wooburgs, they cost one of each color. They have some crazy big sliver effect. So Sliver Queen is one of each color for a 7/7 legendary creature sliver. She has 2... put a 1/1 colorless sliver creature token on the battlefield. So she's like an ant queen. She gives birth to the slivers. Her children are ever part of her. Or if you... Actually, all of these sliver lords are right above her as well. So there's Sliver Overlord that lets you search for slivers. There's Sliver Hive Lord, where slivers you control have indestructible. I don't like a lot of these legends just because they kind of, for me, defeat the whole idea of like the hive mind. Where it's
Maybe
like,
there's like several different hives?
That could be, but to me it's speaking of the Borg, right? The Borg are scary because they're a hive mind, because you can't kill the hive mind because it's made of a collective of individuals, right? There's no centralized intelligence. That's the whole idea, which is really scary to think about. But then they introduce the Borg Queen, who it's like, oh, you kill the Borg Queen and they all die. Or like, the armies of the undead are scary. But then it's like, oh, you just kill the Night King and they all die. Like, it really undercuts the threat of the decentralized intelligence,
Sure, yeah.
So I have a problem with that. Sliver Legion is the only one from a flavor perspective that I really like. So Sliver Legion is, again, one of each color for a 7/7 legendary creature sliver. It says, all sliver creatures get +1/+1 for each other sliver in play. Just pumps up your slivers to the maximum. And the art of it is like a cloud of slivers. I liked that. I liked that idea. And the flavor text says, hidden within the clicking, chittering swarm is a unique mind, still young, but growing more aware as time passes. Like, this is trying to represent the idea of the hive mind. You get enough slivers together, they grow more and more powerful. And the art shows this mass of slivers. There's no one central figure, unlike all the other slivers that we see.
Yeah, I see. Maybe it's one of those things, I don't know. I agree with you about the creepiness factor being there shouldn't be a central, which would make the slivers more like a natural thing and not necessarily like...
There's not
I don't know.
There's not like a boss pulling the strings of them.
Yes, excuse me. Yeah, I'm like, my brain is trying to take in and process information right now. I'm chittering and clicking.
You're getting into character.
Well,
can we turn this to my next question?
Sure.
Okay, so let's have a bit of discussion, maybe a bit of debate. We'll have to see. Once again, it's time for an academic debate between a civilized scholar and a homicidal brute. Let's begin. Bum, 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 bum. All right.
Okay, again, I'm not prepared for this, so I feel like I'm walking in blind, and I'm going to get hit with a bunch of bats.
Well, my question to you is this. These slivers, like, you like tribal. You like goblins.
Yes.
Is there something mechanically that you like about goblins? Like how they work?
I love that they are just basically like flash in a pan, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or they are there's just a mass of them.
Right.
So it's like
sheer numbers,
and I like that they're chaotic. Like they have lots of different things that it's just silly sometimes, just outright just silly.
Right. Like that's why like Krenko is one of your favorite legends or favorite goblin tribal cards, is it just makes so many goblins.
Yeah. It
like,
does.
Just overwhelming you with sheer volume. They're like rabbits, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that aspect of them, too. And goblins, of course, have, like, any like tribe that has any attention given to them. They have lords, right?
Yeah.
Which is the name for, like, a tribal creature that gives some kind of bonus to all creatures of that type.
Right.
So... I mean, Krenko is kind of he doesn't give a bonus to all of them, but he cares about the number of goblins you have. Or like Goblin King gives all goblins +1/+1 in Mountain Walk. Or Goblin Chieftain gives them all +1/+1 in Haste. So a lord is just this name for this creature that gives all the others of that type that bonus.
Yeah.
And the whole shtick with slivers is that every sliver is a sliver lord. Yeah. Every sliver gives a bonus to all of the other slivers. Mm-hmm. So the question I want to bring into consideration is that actually cool, or is that really boring? Or can it be both?
I think it can be both.
I want to hear an explanation.
I think just like, I mean, again, going back to what we talked about, why magic is so great. What I find to be boring is somebody's like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And what I think is, oh my god, the best thing ever is going to be somebody else's like, oh my god, I can't believe she just keeps making tokens.
Right.
You know?
Like we talked about with counterspells, right?
Right. And so for me, I think it's cool that is how it works because of the nature of the creature. This is a hive mind. Everything that they learn, they're all learning at the same time. It makes sense that if one learns trample, all of them get trample. So mechanically, it makes great sense for them to be like that.
Yeah, just a good lineup between the flavor and the mechanics here.
Yes.
I think I make them... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, for me, like, I know nothing about slivers. I don't think I've ever, owned a sliver card or even played a sliver card or even played against a sliver card. I don't think I have...
I don't know why you would have.
No, because
it's
like
particular sets.
Yeah, because it's like if you are going to put a sliver in your deck, you're going to need a lot of slivers in your deck. Yeah. So I have not come across them at all in my Magic history. Because I played a lot of drafting, and I bet you slivers in draft would not be good.
Well, it depends. Slivers are part of Modern Horizons. I think specifically for the drafting aspect of it.
So let me ask you this. Is a changeling a sliver?
Yes. Which is part of the reason
Changelings
why
are fucking stupid then. That doesn't make any goddamn fucking sense.
Why not?
Because that means they would have to be part of the hive mind.
Yeah, they are part of their hive mind.
That doesn't work. We found it, you guys. We found the part where I'm going to start getting mad. Changelings should not be all creature types. It should be all creature types minus slivers, because that's not how hive minds work.
Well, there's a lot of, like, okay, this is just becoming a talk about changelings now. I was saying there's a lot of things about changelings that don't make sense. To me, the flavor perspective of changeling is they can take the form of anything, right? They're shapeshifters. That makes sense. But then, like, you can use a card like Goat Nap. Take control of target creature. If it's a goat, it gets a bonus. So I can take control of this changeling, this shapeshifter. Oh, it's a goat, I guess. It gets a bonus. Or like a Siege Gang commander that throws goblins at people. Oh, you're technically a goblin, you shapeshifter. I pick you up and throw you.
That's fine. Goat is a goat. Goblin is a goblin. Slivers are a hive mind. You cannot learn everything a slivers learn just by being like, derp, derp, guess what, guys? I'm a sliver. Unless you're like ridiculously stupid good bard that has a really high charisma that can roll and make weird lore shit. You're not gonna pull off being a goddamn sliver. I'm sorry.
They just like slivers just care about what you look like. If you've got a convincing sliver mask, you can hear
It's
them.
like, oh shit! I've unlocked all the things in the universe now. Fuck you, changelings.
I think
that doesn't make any damn sense.
I agree. I really think. I mean, changelings were added to Modern Horizons purely for gameplay reasons. In the same way that the first block where they came in, Lorwyn block, where you started playing, right?
Yes.
Changelings were introduced because the whole, like, a big theme of Lorwyn was tribal. All these tribes. And so they used changeling as a way to be like, we have this batch of cards that no matter what tribe you wind up in, you can tap into this group. And it sort of made it workable to have this many tribes running around. So I think changeling is very much it's a joke. It's a mechanics first kind of thing. Flavor second.
I'm very mad right now.
The thing is, you can always find the corner cases where the flavor of mechanics breaks down.
Yeah,
One of my favorites is the idea that, like, you have Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, like, this giant behemoth of a creature that, like, destroys worlds. But if you assemble 15 birds, you can take it down. 15 sparrows can kill Emrakul.
I mean, that makes more sense than absorbing all the knowledge of all slivers just by looking like a sliver.
What if changelings don't just look like a sliver? What if when changelings take on another form, they truly take on another form? Like total physiology. You ever think about that? Huh? Boom!
I'll allow it.
Yes! Yes! All right.
If that's the case for changelings.
All right, let's end the episode. Amber agrees with me.
I agree with you a lot.
And she appreciates what I say.
I said that at the beginning.
Yeah, this is a very wholesome episode. Are you a changeling?
What are you talking about?
Are you
what?
Amber?
What? Yeah. I've always been Amber.
What's your favorite card?
What's his face? You know, that guy.
I don't.
Cranko.
I said that earlier.
What? You didn't say his name.
I said it earlier.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I see some purple pseudopods coming out of your back right now.
That's just... Don't worry about it. I've got a bad case of acne.
Well...
I mean, what is your stance on it? Is it boring for you? Is it good for you? Do you like the... I think you would like these things.
So, okay, yeah. So that's a good question. So back in the Time Spiral days, Slivers did get brought back. I had a Sliver deck. It's fun to play. I enjoy playing it. I don't think it's particularly interesting because I don't think, like, it's not like a deck building challenge. It's like you just said. Like, you want to build a Sliver deck, get as many Slivers as you can get, and just slap them all in the same deck. The end. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all there is to it.
Right.
And so I think, but not every deck has to be complicated, right? Like, Mono Red Burn is fun to play.
Lava Spike, Lava Spike, Lava Spike, Lava Spike.
Exactly. Here's what I'll say about it. I don't think, from a game design perspective, broadly speaking, I don't think the easiest, simplest strategy should ever be the most effective strategy. I think that you need to reward more complicated, more skill-rewarding strategies. Yeah. You do want the easy, simple strategies to be competitive. You don't want them to be squashed entirely. Yes.
I want to take a moment to talk about that because let me tell you,
topic of discussion.
It's not even about Magic the Gathering. It's about game mechanics in general.
Well, that's what I was saying because I was thinking for League of Legends, for anything.
So Dominion.
Yes.
You're getting victory points in that game. It's a
building game.
It's a deck building game. You go around picking cards and then
you get a certain number of points. Game's over.
Game's over. Well, some of the cards generate gold because you need gold to buy stuff.
Yes.
But at the end of the game, depending on how much gold you have, you get points awarded to you. I was playing with this person who was trying to beat the game, not play the game,
break the game.
Yes.
Right.
And the way they found it was by just generating a fuck ton of gold instead of spending money on...
Instead of playing the game.
Yeah, they were buying the actual victory points too, because there's like victory points you can just buy as well.
Sure.
And so we're all on the table playing the game, like buying like trading posts or whatever things that
Villages,
generate other goods, whatever farmers, and they're just literally buying up all the gold. And every time you would play with this person, that's exactly what they would do.
I also knew somebody who did that.
And it's like, okay, great.
They never played the game. They only bought golden victory points.
And it's just like it's not fun, I think. Let's say, I mean, Slivers might be on the same. There's lots of Magic decks that are like that too, where it's like optimized, but that's not why I like.
They're very linear.
Yeah, but that's not why I like Magic, and I don't think I would enjoy playing a Sliver deck because of that reason.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, like, look at the way that you play. Like, you love goblins, but look at the deck you made. You made a Goblin Angel tribal deck that's like doing, like, you didn't just find the most like linear.
Yeah.
Optimize goblins and throw them all in a deck, which is,
right.
You know.
I'm not going to make a deck of 60 lightning bolts in one mountain or whatever the fuck, or whatever it was.
Right. I think from a game design perspective, you don't want to maximally reward the most simplistic strategy. Right. That's never a good thing. And so, like you used Dominion as an example. I was using League of Legends. Like, there are champions in the game that are very simple, and they should be there. Like, for example... I hate Brand.
Mouse?
I hate facing Brand as a champion. He's just like kind of a face roll, throw abilities out kind of champion. Sorry, Seth, he is. And I hate going against him. It's great when Seth's on my team. That's fine. But like, I hate going against him because he's just a face roll champion that does a lot of damage. It's fine to have simple champions because you want new players to have something to latch onto and to be able to quickly get into and feel competitive and be competitive without having to feel like they're just getting shit on forever. Mm-hmm. But that should not be the best thing that you can do. You should reward people who are getting more into the strategy of things, who have put in more time. You want to reward people who are really investing time into your game, I think.
Yeah.
And Slivers aren't really about that. Slivers are feel like a very Timmy kind of deck.
Well, and I think that's not saying that's again a bad thing.
No,
at all.
I built the deck and I like.
Yeah. But I was gonna say one of the core things we like about Magic is this like being able to express yourself through a deck, and you can with a Sliver deck, I believe. Sure. I've never made one, I don't know, but looking at the variety of Slivers, there's lots of different things you could do with it.
Yes,
but mechanically, it doesn't seem like there's too much that they do differently.
There's not a
so
lot of
for
depth there.
me, where I'm like, I like goblins that do ridiculous stuff that you throw other goblins at each, whatever. I don't know if I would mechanically get some sort of enjoyment out of playing it over and over and over again. Because I like these really complicated, stupid, convoluted chaos warp, chaos wand, all that shit.
Yeah, totally.
Scrap mastery.
Yes. And I think from a game design perspective, I don't think Slivers would be super exciting to design for either, because it's like they have this one thing they do,
and it's kind of like maybe if they want to break the flavor of them, and maybe have like different hives of Slivers and have different tribes of Slivers.
Maybe you have this kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, because they dip their toes into changing Slivers by just having them look different, and the players, myself included, were like, these ain't Slivers. Get the fuck out of here with this fucking predator-looking thing with his dreadlock whip
But you
hair.
know what? It's just another owned property they can have fun with when they start running out of ideas and when they're done with the Eldrazi Nicol Bolas Evangelion story arc that's coming.
Yeah.
Because when the world is destroyed and all of the planes are destroyed, there's going to be one planet left, and it's going to be time for the Slivers to rise. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Red Mage, Blue Mage. You can get in contact with us. Again, we want to thank Adept Xander for this topic. If you have topics that you want us to discuss, you can email them to us, redmagebluemage@geekspective.com. You can tweet at us at redbluemtg. And then us individually, I'm at Wolfmere on Twitter.
I'm at Rocket Orca. At least did a better take of that because I was doing a sit-up. And I'm at Rocket Orca.
Great
That
take.
was better.
Great second take.
Whatever, keep them both. They'll love it. They'll eat it up.
Okay. And until next time, I will be representing Counterspell.
And I'm changing it up to Lava Axe.
See you next time.
Wow, I was really off this episode.